Hi everyone, it's Sally Estlin again on Magic Mike Moments, and today I'm incredibly grateful to be sitting down with the most beautiful and positive person I know, I think, Renee Davis. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Magic Mike.
Thank you, Sally. I'm so grateful to be here.
You always have a smile on your doll, no matter what. You are incredibly positive, and I just love that about you. Always Pollyanna.
Thank you. Honestly, it takes not a lot of work, but it's a conscious choice. And every day I choose to be happy. So I always have a smile on my face.
Yes, well, I'm excited to talk with you today. And before we get right into it, let me just give everyone a brief introduction to who you are. So, Renee Davis, you help women activate their next level potential and to remember who the fuck they are, to give them the confidence to use their voice and show up as themselves in the world to experience true bliss and freedom. And I think that's in a nutshell exactly who you are and what you do. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm just so honored to be here. I'm so grateful that you asked me and chose me to be here.
Like, as I said before, you are such a shining light. And I think particularly as everyone's just living life at the moment, particularly with lots of the hardships or potential challenges, you just really are a ray of sunshine. And I just love your energy every time I see you. It's just like your voice, it just picks me up because we work with energy and, we're very sensitive at the moment to energies. And I think your energy is very endearing. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your journey? Because you've had an incredible journey for your young age, lots of ups and downs and things that you've learned. But yeah, if you want to just share with the audience a little bit about who you are and what makes you so great and what makes you so positive today.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So we will wind the clock back a little bit. I know everyone has their own story, but I've learned to really just lean in and honor my story because everyone has a story and it's not about going, someone's had it worse, someone's had it better.
Yep.
I think that those kinds of sayings are very detrimental to somebody because what I've experienced is a 10 and other people experience a 10. It doesn't have to be the same situation that happens. So I come from what people would call a broken home. My parents separated when I was 4. So I was one of 4 kids. I was the youngest girl. And, I was a product of my mum. Like my mum was like, put her on a pedestal. My mum was like this amazing woman, but she was very she had lots of toxic habits and traits that I didn't know. But when I was younger, she was just like my everything. So as an independent mum that she was quite angry. She had a lot of things going on in her life. And for me at the young age of 14, I actually became anorexic. I had my tonsils out and it affects everybody different. And me, I didn't eat because, I always got teased that I was fat. I was, a heifer. I was all these things. I was just constantly teased. I didn't think anybody knew my name. So by the time I would, went back to school after I had my tonsils out, I couldn't eat. And people started saying to me, "Oh my God, Renee, you look good." And I was like, "Oh my God, you know my name?" Nobody ever told me that I looked good. So that started an 8-year eating disorder, and that created a lot of mental health for me as well. Can I just preface before we start that there are going to be some triggers through this story in regards to suicide and domestic violence and family violence and drug taking and death. So, statistically, I actually shouldn't be alive. I actually shouldn't be here on paper. I should not be here. So when I was anorexic, I was in a very dark place. I was 36 kilos and
Whoa.
I started taking drugs when I was maybe 13 years old and I started taking ice when I was 16. So I grew up in, quite below the poverty line. And I just feel like I was trying to fit in. I didn't know who I was. Everybody just kept, teasing me all the time. So by the time, I was anorexic for 8 years, I was out partying all the time. My brother and I used to fight all the time. So physically, so the family violence was a lot from when I was younger. So I used to just go out and party all weekend and take party drugs so I didn't have to worry about where I was sleeping. And, I still remember sleeping on the floorboards at my friend's house because I had nowhere to go, or sleeping on the couch cushions at my sister's because I didn't want to go home. And I just felt really displaced my whole life. So I then, around the age of 20, I got with a friend of mine and he turned out to be super toxic, like a domestic violent relationship. I went through a lot of terrible things in that relationship. And honestly, I still live with them today. So I stayed with him for about 4 years. I'm a recovered ice addict 3 times, and the last time that I actually fell off the wagon was 2019. So it was only about 4 or 5 years ago. I've only been clean for over 3 years now. My current husband was an alcoholic for 10 years that we were together. So I was navigating that while having children. My mum died 7.5 years ago, and she was my rock. She was my everything. And so, over these times, I have tried to end my life many times. And so, those are the things that I believe happened for me. They didn't happen to me, they happened for me, because I always believed that I turn my pain into purpose. And how can I help other people through what I've been through? Like, you can go through something, and everything that I say, take it or leave it, but this is my perspective. Like, you can go through something and keep it to yourself, but there's power in using that to help other people navigate what you've been through and what that looks like. And also, in a way, giving them hope, or giving them a blueprint of, what it may look like you're stuck, but there are ways out. And if you can be that light for somebody coming out the other side. So I make a choice every single day. It makes me emotional. I make a choice every single day to show up and be that version of me, because what makes me great is, I'll use my mum passing as an example. Like, that was like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And my mum died, and I just remember going, if I'm sad and miserable and grieving, she's not coming back. If I'm happy and I'm thriving and life is amazing, she's not coming back. And every day I make a conscious choice every day. How do I want to live my life? Because you're going through what you're going through, but the thing that changes is your perception, the way you look at it. You can look at it like, oh, it's a crappy day, or, oh, it's going to be a great day. Like, no matter what, it's always going to be a great day. And I think for me, it's the way that I actually look at life, because I know that I have a choice. Every day I have a choice, even though it feels like I may not have a choice in, getting up, going to work, all that, but I have a choice how I look at that. Like, not that I have to go to work. I get to go to work. I get to go to work. I get to work with my clients. Like, I get to have all these things.
Yeah, wow. And this is why stories are so powerful, because they can empower other people. And thank you for sharing that with us today, because, what a journey. And just for you to be able to talk about it and talk about the pain, but also how you've come out the other side, and that everything is a conscious choice. Because, to say it is one thing, to actually live it is another. And you're actually applying that and living that in your every single day life, right? You wake up every day and think, I've got this conscious choice of how I'm going to look at life. And it affects how you show up every day. Like, you've got to grow through what you go through, right? And that's exactly what you've done. You've taken your pain and packaged that up into your purpose. And your greatest gift to all of us on the planet is sharing your pain with others, so that you can help them on their journey come through to the other side and see that there is light through the dark. You can come through the tunnel out to the light. Like, I'm feeling, taking myself back just in those small little pockets of shares that you've had. It's like the pain that you would have been going through, and at that young age, as you're navigating all the other normal things of being a teenager and just growing up, and all the taunting and all that sort of stuff, and adding on top of that the mental health, and then the physical issues. And that was a very long time to be anorexic, like a very long time. And then getting caught with the next layer of the drugs on top, and then the domestic violence, and it just layered and layered and layered. So your pain inside, like, so do you want to share a little bit about your healing journey, as you're going through those phases?
Yeah, so being anorexic for 8 years it actually has a decrease in your life expectancy. So most women and men who are anorexic, they don't survive after 6 years, or if they do, their life expectancy decreases dramatically. And also, I added in all of that I didn't think I could have kids, because I'd been anorexic for so long. I didn't think that my body could actually hold children. So that was a whole nother level of out of control, because I'm like, well, if I can't be a mom, what am I here for? So for me, I feel like I've always had a somewhat positive attitude and a mindset. Oh, look, I was also very negative at a lot of points in my life as well.
Yep.
But I remember when life started to change. It was when I fell pregnant with my son, and I actually started to go off the track again, and I found out I was pregnant. So I always say that Zane saved me at that time. And I just remember the way that I was parenting him was the way that my mum parented me. And I was like, this is not okay. Like, I had this awareness. And I smacked him once, and I just cried. And I was like, I'm a grown adult hitting a 2-year-old. Like, there's got to be another way. I started listening to myself and feeling, how did the action I was doing make me feel as me? Because the awareness that you are not who you really are. I wasn't who I really was. I was like a product of my mum, the way my mum parented, but I wasn't an independent mum. I didn't grow up the way my mum grew up. So why was I then creating the same outcome, even though I had a different life? I had a partner and we had money, and I didn't have to do all the things my mum did. And so I started going, how did what my mum did affect me? So how can I do different? And I would always just ask a question, how can I be better? How can I do something different? And so I ended up, the one thing that really, really shifted me was I actually joined a network marketing company. So when I joined this company, I actually was, I had all the tools and the resources on how to become better and how to be that better person, and how to, like, in a way, like, I know when they say fake it till you make it, I do believe that to a degree, because if I wanted to be this different version of myself, I had to really lean into that and get uncomfortable to grow and be more. So the network marketing company, it really triggered a lot, but it also allowed me to navigate. It was a positive part in my life that when I was at home with my partner and, you know, the drinking and everything like that, it was something that I had for me. And it was when I had a taste of that I was like, you know, I'm never, ever going to stop working on myself. I'm never, ever going to stop growing myself, because I was unsure how my relationship was going to go. So I was always looking, how can I be the best version of myself?
Yeah.
But it actually has just hit me lately. I've got a sister I don't talk to, and I just, all this stuff's been going on, and she's been writing stuff on Facebook, and I was like, I responded with a note, like a message that I was going to write to her in an inbox, and I said, no matter how much I change, you're never going to see it because you don't talk to me. And I had this overwhelming, like, grief that I was like, but you weren't changing for you. You were changing. You were being so nice because you wanted them to see that you had changed to be this person. Are you really that person? Like, I know that I'm nice, don't get me wrong, but I was doing it for other people. So then that way they would love me.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, I just want to be the best version of myself every day for myself, so that the way I always have a kind heart, that I'm always loving on people, but also having those boundaries to people that, you know, not everybody deserves your energy. Not everybody deserves to be around you. Doesn't mean that they're not nice people. All you're just saying is that they're not my person. So I think, you know, for me, Sal, it's always just saying, I learned this quote lately. It's like, will I respect myself more or less if I do this? And so I'm really living by that now. Like, there's certain things when I go to have a conversation, I'm like, will I respect myself more or less if I actually, you know, have this conversation? And when I'm doing things in life. So for me, it's always about how can I better myself, and what does that look like, and connecting in with the person I want to be, like listening to podcasts and listening to books. And the network marketing company really helped me be surrounded by people who were already on that path. So I really believe that the community in that and people that were growing made a huge difference for me. But it's also, you know, you never give up. Just never give up. You know, there's so many times you get knocked down. My motto is just get back up one more time. And I'd always say to myself, you get knocked down, I'm like, all right, you just need to find the strength to get back up one more time. Like, don't worry about, like, you know, I got knocked down in February really hard. And I was like, okay, I need to get back up again. Like, and I was like processing so much on a level that I've not ever done. And I was like, you know, you just got to get back up one more time now. You just got to get back up. But I'm so grateful for that knockdown, because who I came out on the other side,
Yeah.
I just love her. I love her so much more than the me from January. So it's all about just getting yourself, learning what you need to learn, get yourself together to get back up one more time.
Yeah, yeah. And like we should share that since then you've been married and you've got, what is it, 3 kids, and you've reunited with your dad and you've moved up north, you move up to Queensland. Like your journey has been incredible. And and I love that thing, just never give up and just get back up one more time, just one more time. You dust yourself off. And you know there's a better saying that I heard actually this morning when I was doing an interview with someone. Fake it till you make it. Yes, we all know that one. And the fake part, because we're more authentic than that, here's a replacement for that: faith it till you make it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my new fave, right? Faith it till you make it, because it's just a more positive energy, right? And more positive use of words. And I really love how this question that you've got, will I respect myself more or less if I do this? I think that's a really good check-in to really just hone in. How's it going to make me feel? Is this going to be for my highest good? Is this the choice I'm really choosing to make? Because as you said, everything is a choice, how we look at life. And I think that's a really good sort of backup to just go, right, okay, regarding my choice, am I going to respect myself more or less after this? I think that's so powerful, Renee. You absolutely.
It's self-awareness, Sal. It's having this self-awareness, not only for yourself, but other people, and understanding that when you say something, it affects somebody. Whether you say it in the best of intention, it can still affect everybody. So understanding cause and effect, that we can say something and cause something, or we can affect something. And it's having that power in yourself to know that when you say something and someone takes it the wrong way, that you have the emotional resilience or the understanding just to be like, well, what meaning did you give that? And that's another big question I give myself, like, what meaning are you giving this thing? Because it's like something happens, and like sometimes I'm trying to process something, like something affects me and I'm just like, but then I'm like, what meaning are you giving this? And it's really just self-awareness. For me, self-awareness has been the biggest thing for me, and just having really good questions to ask yourself to be able to pick yourself up. Yeah, so what meaning are you giving this has like totally blown the lid off so many of the things that make my mind like, round and round. And I'm just like, well, what meaning are you giving this? And I'm like, well, you're telling yourself it means this. And I just say, how do you even get that meaning from that? Like, that is not what that was about. So I have these conversations with myself to understand the triggers and what meaning am I giving things, but the meaning comes up as the trigger. So from the subconscious and from your nervous system is how you're, reacting. But then when I ask myself a question, I give myself the opportunity to respond. So I'm just like, oh, I want to respond to this and not react anymore.
Yeah, I love that. Just sort of deciphering, becoming the detective to where is this coming from? What is it linking to? A limiting belief, and where did that start from? And becoming the detective on everything, because we can do our heads in with our mind, right? With that inner critic and that little voice that goes around and it puts you down. It's the first one to sabotage you, and then you go, "Hang on, stop a minute. Let's see where this is really coming from." Well, this actually leads into my next question, and what do you think is your actual superpower? What is the essence of you? Why are people drawn to you specifically? What's your sort of magic?
People are drawn to me because I am my authentic self. Like, I'm me. I say to people, I'm woo-woo, and I wave it around like a flag, because how else is anybody else meant to find me if I'm pretending to not be myself? And what people really love about me is that I love everybody where they're at. I love them in their mess. I hold space for them. I don't judge. I have so much compassion for people, because I don't need to understand what someone's going through. And that's what people really love about me. And they also love the way I see the world. I remember my mom, she's gone through a bad time. And I was just sharing with her a way to look at it. And she goes, "Nay, you've got such a beautiful way you see the world." And when I, talk with people, I just say, hey, can I just share something with you? And I share a different way to perceive the thing that they're going through. And they're like, wow, I never looked at it like that. So for me, I share a different perspective and a different way to see the world, where you're still honoring yourself. It's not about going, oh, don't think like that. It's more like, hey, have you considered this? And so those are the things that people actually really love about me. Like, yeah,
It's
they
so
love who they are
true.
when they're with me.
Yeah, you just nailed it, because no matter what, you are just always a shining light. You always are. And I've known you for a few years now, but your maturity and just the energy around you, it's just so beautiful, and it's just so inspiring and motivating to other people. And so I think you are perfect, like team leader or whatever it is where you're at. Is it Arbonne, the company that you're with?
Yes, I'm with Arbonne.
Yeah. And well, how long have you been with them now?
11 years.
Whoa. So you were just like the perfect person. And I highly encourage people to reach out to you about, getting involved, because Arbonne products are actually really good too. So, but to be inspired, reach out for Renee. So yeah, that absolutely is your superpower. And it is your particular unique perspective on how you see the world. It's just, the energy just shines around you. So, what do you think is the biggest issue facing your clients?
So the biggest issue facing my clients is they don't know who they are. There's this push and pull between that's what depression, this is from my perspective, that a lot of we feel depression and anxiety because anxiety is who we're told we're meant to be, and we're anxious if we do something, we act different, and people around you start to like get back in your box. That's what people do, like when you start to be different, everyone wants to put you back in your box. It's like when you try to be successful and change, it's like crabs in a bucket. Everyone just wants to pull you down. It's not that they don't want you to succeed. It's just that you're making them uncomfortable. So, and with the depression part, it doesn't look like depression, but it's like, I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I don't feel fulfilled. No, because you're actually pretending to be who you think you should be. So from you were born, you're with your mom, dad, aunties, uncles, sisters, brother, and you assume a position in all of that. Then you go to kinder, then you're around other kids, you assume a position there. And that's where you think that that's who you should be to fit in. As soon as you change, you don't, we're humans, we want to connect. We don't want to ruffle feathers. So we want to try and stay in our little groups. But as you go through the years, you've got your teachers, you've got your peers, you've got your partner, you've got work, you've got all these different things that tell you who you should be in this role. And we identify with that. It's like, when they say, what do you want to be when you're older? And I kind of have this, it's not an argument with my husband. I'm like, no. What do you want to do when you're older? And who do you want to be? Because they're two different things. If you then put your identity around a job, when you're no longer in that job, you lose your purpose. You lose your identity because it was in a position. So I'm just like, well, what do you want to do and who do you want to be? And so everyone thinks like that they need to be a certain way, and then we get to the point where we try and change, and then we get all that negative feedback from everybody. So we're living life as who we think everybody thinks we should be, instead of really being ourselves. And then from there it becomes really uncomfortable, because then you want to be able to use your voice with grace.
Oh, I like that one.
Yes, this is what I teach my clients. I actually teach them to use their voice with grace, to be able to make decisions that work for them. And I help them unpack that cell. I go, you're saying yes to something you really want to say no to. You're doing a disservice to that person, because you're showing up and you don't want to be there, but they could have asked someone else who really wanted to be there. Yeah. So in honoring yourself means that you honor other people. So if the answer is no, you just say to them, hey, thanks for thinking of me, but yeah, no, I'm going to pass this time. And I think it's so intertwined. I've got a program on all of this to help really get down to the core for people to really start to honor themselves. And that's why I say, remember who the fuck you are. Remember who you came here. You got one life. You don't want to waste it pretending to be other people. I know my partner, he's like, you're really woo-woo. And I'm like, you know what? That's the thing you love about me, because he won't admit it, but I'm energetic. I know that the thing that he says to me, he's like, you're woo-woo and that. And I'm like, yeah, but you love that about me because I am myself, because I don't care what anybody thinks about me, because it's actually none of my business.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I mean, and you're so spot on. We're so conditioned to please, right? And it's from a young age. It was, probably in my era a bit more, you were seen but not heard, right? So you sat there and you just zipped it. And you had to be respectful, and you weren't allowed to have a voice in many ways. And I think it's very empowering, particularly as we're going through this energetic shift. And as we're stepping into our power, part of that is being just so comfortable in being ourselves, just being authentically us, and not unashamedly, right? And if we conduct ourselves with love, respect, and dignity, and I love that bit about use your voice with grace, because when you're conducting yourself in this graceful manner, there's nothing more empowering and more attractive than someone that's comfortable in their own skin and confident in just being them. And I think very much this whole new way, this new shift, is about that, being okay with who you are. And I think also remembering that people that are sort of the naysayers or critical or whatever, they're hurt and they haven't dealt with it. Like, healed people heal people, right? Whereas hurt people hurt people. And so when we can take that higher perspective of understanding that people are projecting stuff because of fear, often it's just fear of fear of speaking up and speaking the truth. It's just, you can smell it a mile away when people are just, when you said they're just pleasing and saying, yes, I'll do that, but authentically it's not aligning with them. And I think this is our hour of power, really, of time to step up into our power and be okay with our decisions based on our gut feel. Does it align with you? What did you say to this before? Will I respect myself more or less after doing this? And what meaning am I giving? Oh, that was your meaning one. But, just stepping into it and really feeling into the way forward. I think that's the way to go. And I really admire your strength and courage to have done what you've done to get to where you are now and turn it around and be really confident in being you, and just remembering who the fuck you are. Yeah. And what you want.
And being bold, Sel, like I chopped off all my hair, I shaved the back of it.
I love it.
But you know what? You know how normally like you're going to go get something done and you'll say, oh, I'm going to go get this. In a way, we're looking for validation. Did you know that?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like normally I'd be like, I'm going to cut off all my hair. But then I was like, I don't care what anybody thinks. Like, I'm just going to go do it. And then I'm going to rock up and see people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you cut off all your hair. And I'm like, yeah, because I didn't need someone to tell me their opinion before I did it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, no, I'm just gonna go do it. Like, I'm just gonna go and do things now and not ask for the validation.
Yeah.
And it's about like experimenting and exploring your body as well. Because if someone says, I don't like that, like Tyson's like, I don't like short hair. I'm like, that's okay. I'm cutting it like it's short. Like, you're just gonna have to learn to deal with it and it will grow out. But I don't want to get to 70 and 80 and be like, I should have cut my hair.
No regrets. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't want to shoot all over myself. I'm like, I cut my hair and wasn't what I wanted, but it grew out. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, because it was already short, I thought, well, what would it look like shorter? Like, it's already short. Like, just experiment, have fun. Like, I think we need to have more fun around everything that we're doing. And your body, like, and I love it, your body is a way that you get to express who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
It's color. You want color in your hair, you want, to dress a certain way. Like, that's you showing the world your personality.
Yeah.
We get to dress it up. Like, it's exciting.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, if you look back through all of my profile pics, I go from dark to blonde to mixed in between. And it was just like where I was at the time. And it was funny. Well, it's a number of years ago now. I was going out with this guy and I was blonde. And then I felt inside, oh, I think I want to go dark. And I asked my kids and they go, yeah, Mum, we want you dark because that's, you. And then this guy goes, no, I don't like you dark. And so anyway, not long after that. So I didn't change my hair. And it was just like, it was grating with me. And then I was like, oh, I don't like this. And anyway, long story short, we broke up and I went dark. And now it's just that I'm going so grey that most of this is grey. So I've sort of aging gracefully as I'm going grey. But it's just, you're right. It's expressing your personality. I've done the whole extensions thing. I've just, done all the weird shit. And but that's all part of it. And just being okay. And you absolutely hit the nail on the head about fun. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. And we're here to be happy, healthy, and wealthy on all levels at the end of the day. And, you're a living example of living that now, right? But having fun and playfulness in our life and expressing yourself is the playfulness as well. It shines through. And, when you smile, it just absolutely radiates out, just the fun and the playfulness and stuff, and with your cheeky little laugh. So, then that leads into, so we've got the biggest issue facing your clients is they don't know who they truly are and they don't feel fulfilled. So what would be 3 sort of easy top tips that you could sort of off the top of your head come through? I mean, part of it you said is use your voice with grace. That might be one of the tips. I'm not sure.
So it's very important, the language that you're using, that I'm using when I'm talking to people, because when I say, speak up, use your voice, that comes with, being seen and not heard. But when I say, we're going to help you use your voice with grace, that just automatically calms everybody down.
Yeah.
So some tips that I would recommend is I have shared it, but just ask yourself, will I respect myself more or less?
Yeah.
If I have this conversation, if I do this thing, if I don't do this thing. And I think that is more of a way saying, will I respect myself if I say yes to this person when I don't want to do it? Will you respect yourself? So you can actually use that in many different ways in your life to be able to navigate what you do and don't want. So that's one. Number 2, what advice? I think there's a lot out there where people will say, just be yourself. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to, it's easy to change. It's just, we're not emotionally resilient and have the emotional intelligence to properly translate what people are bringing back to us. So I work a lot on emotional resilience for myself. And when I do get triggered and I get emotional, I just say, hey, I actually talk to them, hey, Nay, I can understand why you're hurt, and validate the emotion, because once you validate it, you're then able to move through it. So it's when you say, oh, I shouldn't be upset about that. Oh, that's nothing to be upset about. I'm just like, you drop, it could be something so small, and I'm like, that really upset me. So it's like that, and I'm like, yes, that upset me. Now I'm just going to process, and now the process is over within like 30 seconds. Whereas I used to give him the silent treatment for weeks, because that's what my mum used to do. That's what I didn't know how to communicate. Now I've learned to just validate what I'm feeling. So validate what you're feeling. Honor that. You feel that for a reason. It's coming from somewhere. But you also don't need to believe everything you tell yourself at the same time.
Yeah. I love that. And it's so true, because we're emotional beings, right? And so we get all the whole gamut of emotions. And like I said before, you grow through what you go through. So rather than hanging on and embedding it and becoming drama and embedded as limiting beliefs, just allow it just to flow through you, because they come and go, the perceived good and positive and negative emotions, but giving it some validation that's actually how I feel. It's like PMS. Some days you're just really cranky, right? And it's just, I'm just cranky, but that's okay. I recognize that, right? So yeah, there's some really good tips there. You've got so much gold within you, so many nuggets. So, basically I've got a couple of mantras, and one of them is let go, step up, and be more. And you've really spoken about a lot of that today. But what do you think at the end of the day is the biggest thing that you've let go of, or where you've stepped up, or just been more of yourself?
When I've always looked at my life, and we were very poor, and my dad had money, and my mum's side very poor. And there was just something in me that I knew that if I worked hard enough, I could get myself out of any situation. I'm not broken. There's nothing wrong with me, that I can always get myself out of every situation. But I remember the moment when I had to grow up, and this is, everyone may resonate with this in some way. So whenever anything would go wrong, I'd ring my mum, blah, 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 right? And I'd have my little tiff or whatever, and my mum would validate that, right? And my mum loved me, of course, and she just wanted to support me, but she was also enabling certain behaviors in me, and I did not grow up because I would always run to my mum. When my mum died, I remember I had a fight with Tyson. I sat on the couch and it was 9 o'clock and I'm like, I don't have anyone to ring. I don't have anyone to ring to talk this out. And I sat there and I'm like, Nate, it's time to grow the fuck up. It's time to grow the fuck up. Like, I think that's what it comes down to, that we need to, stop having a back door. And if we want more from life, is the person that we're looking at, is that person not, I believe everyone's made for greatness, but who you are in that moment, if you removed yourself and put yourself with 6-figure earners, 7-figure earners, is that behavior serving you? Is the behavior of who you want to be serving you? I didn't have that emotional resilience and intelligence. I had to work it out myself. I had to go, I don't like how this feels. Well, you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So I then had to start researching. Like, I remember when I learned boundaries, like I cut everybody out of my life. I was like, I can't be around people anymore because I don't know how to assert boundaries. Like, I'd go to school pickup and I'd walk around to different cars because I knew I talked to everybody. And they would just like vomit all their stuff on me and they would feel better. But then I was like, I'm left with all this energy. And the way I explain it, Sal, is like, we're all a house, okay? Like, I'm a house, but I didn't have a front door. So anyone could come in, dirty feet, and have a party, mess up my house and leave. They feel better, but I'm left with all this mess, which is the energy. So I put a door on there, cleaned up the inside, and I'm like, okay, how do I serve what are boundaries? Like, I never even knew what it was, right? So one of my friends rang me and said, can you look after my daughter? And I knew it was a yes, but I was just like, hang on, I'm just asserting boundaries. I'll call you back. I just want to check my diary. And that just stopped me from the automatic yes. You know what I mean? The automatic yes, 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 yes. So you need to learn to stop that. So then I remember this same friend rang me and she was like, having a meltdown about something. And I was like, I'm not letting this into my house. So I imagine in my head, I was hanging out the window to her at my door. Because I was like, I can't let this in. And then like I started thinking about the people in my life and just going, where do I position them? Because you become who you hang around. And so when I really stood that as well, like I really had to change the people who were around me because I was only going to get what I was going to get. And, people love you, but they also enable certain behaviors in you as well. So I've got people in my life that when I have too much of them in my life, it's great a little bit. And then when they're in more, the conversation starts talking about people and that. And I'm like, no, you can only be in my life 10-15%, because anything more than that, it starts, navigating to a way that I don't want to be. And I've really sunk into that lately, and really just being aware of my surroundings, because you become who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely. And as we're going through this energetic shift, we're incredibly highly more sensitive. As we keep going through these ascensions, we're very more and more sensitive, and we're holding space for a lot more people who are not able to, consciously be aware or navigate through
what's happening. And so we're holding space for a lot more people. And that's where we really do need to be more mindful and put up those boundaries, because the only thing we can control is our time and energy. And it's just like, as you said, 10 to 15% of time for that lot or whatever. And it's just like putting you first as we're going through this shift. And so much insights there. Absolutely. So, at the end of the day, what do you think is the thing that gets you out of bed? What are you most passionate about?
I'm most passionate about ending suffering, in unnecessary suffering. I think a certain amount of suffering is good because you need to navigate through it. But I think that too many people are staying in a suffering state because they don't know how to navigate out of that. And so other than my children and my partner, my husband, that gets me out of bed, what gets me out of bed is that I actually shouldn't be here. I really believe in my heart that I'm here for greatness, and every day is an opportunity for me to get up and grow myself. Like, I get uncomfortable all the time, but I'm here to serve so many people. I know when I go out, I just smile at people. I have an open heart. I know that I'm making a difference, even though I'm just going down the shop and I say hi to people. What gets me out of bed is that I know that there are women out there who need me to show up, and that's why I get out of bed. It's why I push myself to show up, even when I feel like I don't want to, or it's hard, or, the fear and everything like that. But I just think if the tables were turned and I was suffering and I needed someone to show up for me, what if they didn't show up? What if Arbonne hadn't shown up when it did. You know, my cousin introduced me and I say to her, thank you. She's like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, I know you didn't. You did, but you didn't. And I'm like, and that joining Arbonne was the thing that changed my entire life. Like that put me on the trajectory to where I am today.
And today you are such a beacon of love and light. You honestly are. It's just your radiance just shines through. And Renee, thank you for sharing all of your stories today and your nuggets. There's so much wisdom and insight. And you know, you've grown through a lot and come out the other side. And I just can absolutely see that you are here for greatness and making a difference. So I want to thank you for that. So just before we wind up, if anyone is wanting to reach out and connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
So you can do it on Facebook. My business page is, and I've got a masterclass coming up, which is Activate Your Next Level Potential. And so it will be on my face. It's a free masterclass. Oh, I just need to log into Facebook. Always log out.
Yeah, I highly encourage people to reach out. So a free masterclass, that's amazing, activating your potential. Yes. If this isn't perfect timing at the end of our conversation, it's a perfect
100%. And next level, like everybody, so many people are going to the next level right now. Like I'm hearing everybody go, oh my gosh, next level. And I'm like, I'm not missing the wave this time because I'm not second guessing it. I'm just doing it and it's not perfect. But on Facebook, you can connect with me. It's Renee Davis.
Yeah.
Activate Your Next Level You.
Activate Your Next Level You.
Yes.
I'll put that up in the comments here, in Your Next Level You.
Fantastic. And the masterclass is June 11th at 7 p.m. It'll be via Zoom. So you can grab on my business page, or please just reach out and say hi. I just love to connect with people as well. I'm just so honored to be here, so thank you so much.
Oh, Renee, you're a shining light. You absolutely are. You're a beacon of hope and inspiration and motivation to so many of us in the world. So thank you. So thank you for joining us on Magic Mike Moments. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to this, and please reach out to Renee. She's just an amazing soul. She really is, and she is here to make a difference. So I want to thank you so much, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon, babe.
Thanks, babe.
Bye.